This morning on BRN, a new study finds that people bet on sports instead of investing in the stock market. Joining me now to discuss this, Kevin Pisciotta is with the University of Kansas School of Business. Dr. Pisciotta, so great to see you. Thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me.
I love this report. Maybe I don't love the results as much, Kevin, but I love the fact that you did the report, you and your colleague. Let's talk about this because it seems like more people are betting on sports instead of investing in the stock market. That's the headline. What's the detail?
Thanks for asking. And again, thanks for having me on. So let me just lay the landscape a little bit about what's going on here. Starting in 2018, for the first time, states were allowed to legalize in their own state online sports betting. And following that, at least within our sample period, 25 states plus DC have legalized online sports betting for their local residents. And so now we've had enough time and data to look at the effects of this on household finances. What that means is we look at decisions that households make in their investment accounts and their debt management. And we can do that because we have data on individual household level financial transactions. And so what we find is that in the states that legalize online sports betting, there's evidence that people that bet substitute out of transfers that they would have made to a brokerage account where they usually have making savings decisions in equity and bond markets, are pulling money out of those accounts and putting it into sports betting accounts. We're able to actually identify transfers out of brokerages into online sports betting platforms. We can see the merchants of these transactions, and that's what appears to be going on. For every $1 these individuals seem to place onto these betting platforms, it has an effect of between $1 and $2 out of these investment accounts.
I'm shocked. I'm not shocked because, Kevin, what do you attribute this to? Is it the gamification? Sports betting, look, every time I turn on the NFL to watch the Baltimore Ravens, that's my team, I see a DraftKings or I see, FanDuel, and there's a sports line in the broadcast telling me what the over-under is on a particular game. And so it leads me to believe that, more people see this and they're like, okay, well, sounds like fun. And they probably have a lot of fun gambling.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of our co-author team have had some experience with it too. So we're not completely innocent to the idea that there is this interest and demand for it and people get plenty of entertainment and value out of it. And of course, we're not saying that you shouldn't, if this is what you desire to do, that there's something inherently wrong with wanting to place a sports bet here or there. But yeah, we think that people need to be aware of these costs, that there is this addiction component, that there are potentially predatory marketing to people who are habitual losers. And so the game is not really in your favor, and it's okay if you know that up front. The odds are not such that you expect to win over time. But people who aren't aware of that can set them up for long-term financial hardship. That they're seen to be sacrificing their savings, and a result I didn't mention is that they seem to also be running up their credit card balances.
That's certainly not good. I think it's close to $1.9 trillion in credit card debt and growing, Kevin. Is there what's the takeaway? Is there a role here? I'm not sure how much is regulated around this. I know that states, you talked about 2018 and I think it was a Supreme Court decision. There are states that have certainly done this, and I think the states see the revenue component of this, right? But there is a sociological component or a psychological component on this, and also a financial component. Does there possibly need to be oversight and more regulation?
Possibly. It's not something we're experts in, or we think that we have a firm enough grasp of what the different options are for regulatory actions or the potential trade-offs that different options would have. But we do think that this is the first step in those policy decisions, is having some awareness of some quantitative estimates of these costs. And there are definitely things regulators could do. For instance, there's not a lot of oversight of the marketing that these platforms do, particularly to people who they can see in their own internal data that are losing more than others. So That's something we want to look at more. We hope people follow our research to get a better handle on what regulators should be considering for different ways to put guardrails in here. But it's definitely, I think, a conversation people should be having.
Yeah, and on the flip side, look, you said it well. A lot of the odds are not in your favor. Same as, by the way, when you go to Vegas or to a casino in your local area, those slot machines, they may be fun to put a coin in. I guess it's a coin or maybe a token. You pull it down. That seems like a lot of fun. But look, the house generally has the advantage in that case. And so you need to be aware of what you're doing. You can't just feign and say, hey, I didn't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Again, people have their own, they have power over their own decisions. We don't want to allude otherwise or imply otherwise. People like playing slot machines. It's their choice. But to pretend like those don't have long-term implications, and we're showing that in the sports betting framework, I think is a mistake.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, Kevin. There's a lot of noise in the media about people not saving enough for retirement. If you're taking money out of your investment accounts or your savings and you're putting it towards this experience, which may be, look, it may be rewarding, it may be fun, it may be social with you and your buddies playing and saying, I'm going to bet on the Orioles, hey, they're going to lose again tonight or whatever. That's great, but the implications are you're not putting that money away. And as anybody who follows finance knows, if you put money away over a long period of time, you just get the power of compounding, you get the power of the market. You miss out on that. And that's what I think. It seems to me, Kevin, that we need to do a lot, be more impressionable when it comes to financial literacy.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think there's a lot of room to improve on getting people interested and convinced that how important it is to save that money away and not just put it away in an account. There are ways that research has shown are better ways to invest that money, but sports betting is unlikely to compete with the return prospects of some type of passive or actively managed equity linked product that you can get in some type of investment portfolio.
I wonder, Kevin, if this is kind of analogous to the lottery. And I had the experience when I was a younger man working in a liquor store, and I ran the lottery machine, and I saw the people come in, and they would get their numbers, but the result was they were always back, and they never won. And I wonder if this is analogous to that the odds are so favored in the house that if it's not enjoyment for you, then you're going to lose, and your money would be better off spent elsewhere, as you said.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of analogies between the two types of gambling. We can, in our data, see the likelihood. We only see online transfers, so this isn't, we're going to see every type of lottery play, also maybe only a minority of it, because most people do that at some type of merchant where they're buying other stuff or they do it with cash. But from what we can see, the people that play sport online, transferred online sports betting platforms are more likely to play the lottery. And so there is some overlap in the psychology and the motives for people that do both of those types of gambling.
Yeah, well, the Maryland State Lottery, they always said you got to play to win. However, you played, but you didn't necessarily win. That's just my point of view. Kevin, we're going to have to leave it there. Great research by you and your colleague. Keep it up. We need to look into this a lot more. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
And don't forget to subscribe to our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Details at our website. Until tomorrow, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.